Welcome to the third webinar in the Genomic series for CIS. My name is Darren Todd. I am the geneticist for the Holstein UK group. In this presentation, we will look at the interpretation and analysis of genomic results. Just a summary of topics we're going to cover. Initially, we're going to look at where you can view genomic results on CIS and on Holstein UK. We're then going to look at how to interpret results for individual animals, and then look at analyzing groups of animals in the NBDC genomic portal. And at the end, we'll recap on the broader use of these genomic results. UK genomic results are published monthly, normally on the first Tuesday of each month, the exception being August, where it's the second Tuesday. And there are two main options for viewing results within CIS Your Herd in the Herd Genetic Report, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and on the NBDC genomic portal for Holstein and Friesian pedigree animals. You'll be familiar with the Your Herd genomic menu in CIS, and you can see on the bottom right-hand corner the link to the Herd Genetic Report. Within this report, animals which have been genomic tested will be denoted with the green G. You can see in the second right-hand column, and alongside that in the table, there is a summary of the genomic results for those animals. You can also then click on the name of the animal, and that will link you to the animal's pedigree fact sheet, if the animal is pedigree. This is an example of an individual fact sheet genomic result for a pedigree Holstein, and you'll be familiar with the basic setup of the fact sheet. Really, the results are split into three sections. There's a section of production traits, milk kg, fat kg, protein kg, and so on. In the next section, there's a group loosely grouped under management traits. These are mostly health traits, actually. And these are a mixture of PTA and indexes calculated from PTA. And you can see somatic cell count, for example, fertility index, and also indexes such as calf survival and lameness in there. And the third part of the fact sheet are the type results. And these are all quoted on the same scale in the familiar linear chart format, and these are standard deviations of PTA. So the breed generally runs between -3 and +3. Most of the animals within the breed will be within +1 and -1 of 0. And finally, there's an overall selection index, which is an economic index, which weights the key traits according to their economic value in the UK. And you'll be familiar with the term PLI, and that comes with the associated reliability. Just to remind you that the reliability describes how much genetic information we know about that animal. Okay, so in this case, 55%. Just a little refresher on PTA. As I said, most of the traits on the genomic results are quoted in PTA format. PTA stands for predicted transmitting ability. It's basically an estimate of genetic merit for a given trait. It actually originally was produced for bull proofs, so it was really relevant to what are the daughters of that bull going to be in terms of their genetic merit. So the same scale is actually used for all genomic results in genomic females. And remember that, as I said, the reliability tells you how accurate that estimate of genetic merit is. So that's still an important figure to look at. So as I said, the PTA is actually half of the animal's genetic merit because it was originally a concept used for bull proofs. So if for example, heifer calf is plus 500 kg from milk, we'd actually expect her to produce 1,000 kg more milk per lactation. That's considering her being than the average animal in the average herd. For pedigree animals, you can access their genomic results via the genomic portal. Okay, so this is the main page on the Holstein UK website, and you can see from this page, if you go to the Services tab and you scroll down, third one down on the right, you will have access to the genomic portal. Once you go into the genomic portal, you can put in your prefix and PIN to be able to access your results. For the purposes of this webinar, we'll have a look at the demo results. You can see initially you get taken to the summary dashboard screen, and on the left-hand side, you'll get a summary total of the animals that you have genomic results for, and you'll also see a summary of the total of male results. So we'll go into the female results and scroll down a little bit. So initially, all the animals that you've genomic tested are included in this section. You will probably want to cut this down to a group of animals, perhaps by age that you want to look at in particular. So we'll go down to animals aged 12 months or under, for example. That takes us down a little bit. And you'll see that in the initial setup of the page, there are 8 example traits displayed for you as a starter. If you want to select your own traits, you can go in and you can go and edit those traits, and you can remove simply by clicking on whichever traits you like, for example, and you'll see that there's a whole set of type traits and so on in there. And if you want to add another trait, for example, we'll put in stature, then you can do that. And I'll just close that screen. And you'll then see that we've now narrowed it down to 4 traits that might be of particular interest in your herd. So it's up to you to decide, which of these 3 or 4 traits are the key ones for you. You'll see that underneath then, the animals individually are displayed, and the indexes, the PTA for those traits are shown. At this stage, you can rank by any of those traits. You may want to scroll down a bit further, so we'll squeeze the cursor up a bit further here. We'll maybe bring fertility up a little bit. You can move these wherever you want. Initially, these are set to show you the range within which your animals fall, and we'll go down a bit. So really, this is a tool that's intended at you trying to identify a group of females from an age group of animals that you've tested that really you're going to consider as your replacement females. Okay, so I've cut that down to just 4 traits, and you'll see now the animals that you're interested in are displayed. You can rank by whichever trait. You can then export these animals as an Excel. There's various options for you. If you decide you want to go back again, start again, you can simply click the reset animal table. Okay, and you can start all over again. There's also the option to swap to the male results. So if you've tested any males, remember initially males results are unofficial, so you're only able to see them within your genomic portal, and you'll see the male results are shown down here. And you can click on the fact sheet of the animal, and that takes you to the unofficial male result, which again is in the familiar format that we've been looking at before. And we'll just finish by reminding ourselves what the broader use of genomic results is. Really, you want to use these to identify animals according to your breeding goals. And if you're thinking of heifer calves, you're really looking at which heifer calves you might consider to rear as replacements. And you can also use the information to make more informed breeding decisions, which animals to mate to sex semen, which to mate to beef semen. And also remember that the stock bull, if you have one, can have quite a big genetic impact on the herd. So you'll gain quite a lot of information by getting a genomic result for that animal. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. As usual, if you've got any questions, you can contact the CIS using the usual resources.